Welcome to another exclusive tour, and this time it is the brand new Pershing GTX80. Now, for those of you who know Pershing, they're extremely well known for producing super quick 50-knot sports cruisers. The GTX range is more their kind of SUV model, a bit like a luxury Range Rover that's more spacious, not quite as quick, but still seriously good performance. Now, this particular model starts at 5.2 million euros ex VAT, and we're going to show you every single detail. My name is Hugo Andreae, you're watching Motorboat and Yachting. Let's go and tour it. Before we jump on board, let's just have one quick look at the exterior, because Pershing is all about sporty looks. And even though this is a bigger, more SUV type of boat, there is still some very cool exterior styling. We've got a small integrated sports bridge up there, big hull windows all the way along, that trademark Pershing gunmetal grey exterior finish, and most of all, this very cool stern beach club area with big folding platforms. So let's jump on board and take a closer look. Let's have a quick look at the spec first of all. So this is powered by triple Volvo Penta D13 IPS 1350 engines of 1,000 horsepower each, which gives a top speed of 34 knots and a cruising speed of 28 knots, with a maximum cruising range of around about 300 nautical miles. Now, this is all about connection with the sea, and you can see straight away from this stern arrangement that it's a very cool leisure area. Now, this platform here, this can go into 3 different positions. This is the kind of standard running position. It will also lower into the water to launch a tender, or it can rise up and match the level of that aft deck there to create a really spectacular beach club area. Now, you can see we've got the 2 platforms folded down on both sides. In motion, those will lift up and fit absolutely flush with the top sides, but look how much extra space it creates. You've got all this extra space here, you've got the big beach platform here, you've got the hydraulic one there, and another folding terrace here. So it really does create a remarkably spacious feel, particularly when that is lifted up to match the same level. Now, this is not a garage. It may look a bit like it, but it's just a big storage void, so you can keep your sea bobs, your stand-up paddle boards, that kind of thing within that locker there, and that opens using these buttons. Then we move up into the cockpit area. You can see we've got 1, 2, 3 steps up, so you've got this whole kind of cascading feel from the main cockpit going down into the beach club area. But it's all connected, it's all open, so you can have little groups of people scattered around on the different levels without feeling completely separated. Now, one of the interesting things about this design is it has no side deck. So if you look down there, you can sort of just about shimmy along to clean it, but that's not the intended route to the foredeck. You can see we have got sort of little half steps there. So that's really just for crew usage. And it's exactly the same over on this side. So there is some non-slip on this deck here just to make it possible to move along, but the idea is you go straight through the saloon, and that means you can get a much wider full beam saloon rather than having to leave space for those side decks. But before we go in there, let's have a little look up on the fly deck, because unlike the X range, this has a small sports fly bridge. So we've got these floating teak steps up to the upper deck, and even though it's still pretty low profile, you do get a good amount of space up here. Key to that is, of course, the helm position. Pershings are very much driver's boats, where the owner is going to want to take the wheel, even if he has crew to help out with the duties. But look at this. 3 triple helm seats. The central one is obviously the main place to be. Love the way they've got 2 integrated armrests. So you've got the bow thruster and the VHF handheld there. We've got the joystick for those triple IPS engines, and the Humphrey trim tabs there. So everything within arm's reach of the main helm position. You've got that very cool single spoke Pershing wheel, become a bit of a signature for the brand. And then the regular throttles and the triple MFDs. Well, the central one is the Volvo engine control unit. Either side of that, you've got the touchscreen SIMRADs. But a really focused driving position, an aero screen around here, which is obviously designed to send the wind up over your head without actually interrupting the view. So even when you're sat down at seat level, you get a fantastic view forward over that foredeck, which we'll take a look at in a minute. Now, as well as the helm seats, we've got a wet bar right behind, all in this kind of metallic gunmetal grey. A little grill style induction hob there, quite a big sink, and of course all the usual fridges and ice makers and so on under there. And then a folding top, so if you want to keep the whole thing low profile, that will fold down. I'm not going to do it one-handed because it looks quite heavy. And then a kind of mini dinette here, quite low level. If you can see, it's sort of just below knee level, but that's all in order to keep that profile of the yacht. But you do have a big expandable teak table. You can see that opens up and slides along, so you can comfortably sit, certainly 6 people, maybe 8 if you bring a couple of folding director's chairs up here. And this is a nice detail, check that. It's a carbon fibre pedestal for the table. All very much part of that sort of racing, sporty aesthetic. And then lovely sunbed at the back here, and that will just fold over. Again, I won't do it one-handed, but you can see that that backrest for the seat will fold over to extend that sunbed. And I like the way there's a little rail around there to keep you feeling nice and safe, and all the sat domes behind. So very much a low profile sports bridge rather than a full-size fly bridge, but nevertheless it creates a lot of extra space outside on board what is still a very sporty yacht. So we come back down into the cockpit area. This is a little kind of mini chaise longue corner sofa. You can see it's much deeper than a normal seat, so you can perch around the edge, or you can tuck yourself a little bit further into the corner. And of course, because of those extended supports for that sports bridge, it's a really nice sheltered spot to hang out, and very sociable with the main party at the table there. And you can see that's got the same carbon fibre pedestal and those folding teak leaves. And then moving forward into the saloon, we can see we've got access down to the crew area there, and then these big glass doors. And unusually, this is hinged. Usually you'd have them sliding, but you can see that is a big hinged glass door. And then we've got a drop down one that lowers down there. So you can seal the whole thing off if the weather's cold, or open it up like it is here. And check out the aesthetic of this. So this is the galley area, but it's just super cool. Rather than going for a sort of traditional light colours, it's a sort of sportier, dark, slightly more masculine kind of style, if you like. Very modern, very clean. We've got all the blinds down in here. Obviously there's glass windows behind there, but it's just trying to keep the boat cool at a boat show. 4-ring induction hob, even the sink and taps are all this kind of matte black. It's all part of that modern, sporty aesthetic. That is just a loose tray, but all designed to match. Beautiful curves, finish. Looks like a kind of painted finish, but it has a slightly sort of marbly, polished effect. Got the Siemens oven in there, all the usual kit. And then the saloon area here. Now it is a little bit busy, so we'll try and work our way around and be discreet. But we can see we have got the seating area here. Again, nice sort of cornered angle seating, all a little bit more informal, keeping that sporty vibe. And then we've got the breakfast bar stools up against the galley area. So you can just imagine sat there, having a cocktail, looking out through it. Very cool. Have a quick look up at the helm station while we're here, if it's not too busy. So we've seen the upper helm, very similar layout down below. We've just got the 2 chairs here, but like upstairs, got that immediate access to the joystick, the side power thrusters, the throttles, a little bit more of a reach because you've got the throttles further forward, but of course you can helm from inside and you've got the 3 big screens there. So this is the kind of main helm station, and upstairs you've just got the repeats, but very cool. You've got access to all the systems along this panel here. You can see there's a sort of etching of the boat on this carbon fibre, and you can see exactly if any alarm goes off, the light will light up and you can see where it is, and that's all repeated on the screen. So if you want to go in and check out the lighting or bilge pumps or state of the tanks, it's all on board there. So there's the interior lighting and so on, all custom made for the boat. Got the cameras looking over the stern deck, but of course that can also be navigation or radar. You can set them up how you want, and here you've got the controls for the windlass, the skylight, and that is the skylight over here. If we look behind the helm station, we've got the shutters drawn again to keep the light out, but you can see there is a big hatch overhead, let in yet more air and sunlight. And now you've got doors on both sides, very important, because in order to get to the foredeck, you are going to need to come through this area, but they've kept that nice and wide so you can get to that. Massive TV over on this side. Check that out, that sinks back down into that side unit. You can see we've got controls for that there. I won't do it at the moment because it's all set up for the show. And then this secondary seating area here, opposite the galley. But it's notable how much space there is between the two. So it's a really nice flow through the boat. You don't feel like you're being sort of ushered around or herded around through narrow channels like some kind of IKEA superstore. It's very nice and open feeling. Now this is one of the access doors out to that foredeck, and you can see that that aligns with a gate in the top side if you want to get out to a pontoon. The door itself is on big cantilever style hinges, so it swings out and tucks there, and you can see there are those two steps up to that kind of half side deck that we mentioned earlier. But then this is the access out to the foredeck, and of course that's another really good entertaining space. So we've got a big teak table there. You can see that that folds over to join up, so you can all sit round that table. I haven't put the supports out, so I won't do it, but you can see that kind of horseshoe of seating there, and on the other side creates one big sociable dining space. Now the foredeck area, this is reserved really for crewing duties, but even here it's very stylishly done. This particular feature here right at the bow has become a signature for these new Pershings. Rather than having coming to a sharp point, it just drops over in this lovely kind of curved point that just adds a certain amount of style. It's hard to show from on board, but you can see it just leaves a very distinctive look. And then if we come back along this side, then we've got these half side decks, nice and tall. We've got cutaway sections in these bulwarks so you can get a view out, and then back in through that helm station in here. So very nice easy flow around the boat, and then access down to the lower deck over on the starboard side, curving staircase, again with this very cool sporty sort of masculine vibe with these little inset LED strips going down to the lower deck. So when you get to the lower deck, there's a long corridor running down the center of the boat. That leads up to the bow area with cabins on either side, and then a slightly shorter step through into the owner's cabin. And I like the way they've put a little kink in the passage here. Rather than going straight in, it would all feel a bit sort of linear and narrow. This way you have a rather more grand entrance. You have to make your way around into the owner's cabin, and then you're faced with this very cool layout. Now, unusually they've got the bed facing aft, so that is the stern of the boat in that direction, and quite unusual to have the bed facing that way. But it works really nicely. You've got big windows on either side. Again, we've got the blind downs just to try and keep it cool, but comfortable sofa on the port side, sideboard over on the starboard side, lots more of this very cool LED lighting, both up on the deck head and in the sort of bed head or above it, as well as little spotlights just creating pinpoints and pools of artificial lighting. Lots of cool features here. Storage. Very notable that none of these cupboards have handles on. It's all designed to be minimalist and discreet, so you just tuck your fingers around the corner. Massive TV on the bulkhead, and then ensuite bathroom, and this is almost providing extra insulation between where we are here and the engine room further aft. It just means there's another space to absorb the sound. That same kind of gunmetal grey finish, and even the bathroom furniture like the loo and the bidet, matte black. I don't think it is carbon fibre, but it has that sort of very sporty carbon fibre look. Even the shelving unit, just all very slick. And it leaves a very kind of calm vibe down here. It's all very cool, very calm. Not the lightest boat I've ever seen. It does feel quite masculine in this colour tone, but it does look super cool. Quite a low level bed, it's sort of below knee height. I think there's storage under there. Can't quite work out how to get it. That is the trouble when you don't know where the door handles are. You've got to get to know it a bit. And then moving forward through the boats, we'll just move up. So on the port side, we've got one twin guest cabin over here. Those are probably 2.5 to 3 foot wide, those beds. There is full standing headroom in here, no shortage of that. Probably 6'6". There's a bit of storage behind there. Ensuite bathroom. This is obviously a little bit tighter, but you can see they've used a big mirror on that door to try and make it feel a bit more spacious. There's a loo down there and a little walk-in shower in there. But still nice for the third or fourth cabin to have their own ensuite bathroom. Pretty much a mirror outfit over on the starboard side. 2 twins. Another ensuite bathroom behind the door on this side. Similar layout, we've got a loo down there, relatively narrow walk-in shower area. Might be a little bit tight to give yourself a good scrub down in there, but you have got a window, all in that sort of dark masculine colour tone. And then back out into this corridor, carrying on. You can see that that bathroom has got dual access, so that acts as the day heads as well. And then you're up into the VIP forward. So door at this position, access to the bathroom on the port side here, but let's have a quick look at the sleeping area first. Good wide bed. There is a little bit of tapering on this corner, but that's, I think, as much as anything just to provide easier access round the side of it. But it is actually very wide. That's got to be at least 6 foot across the widest point there. Mirror up above the bed head. Look at that. I love that. Reflections of the water on that blind, just dappling away there. TV on the bulkhead. Lots of storage behind all these. Again, you have to look for it a bit. Find those little edges to get your fingers behind. And the ensuite bathroom over on this side. Mirror in front of the window, but you have got natural light coming in there. That same matte gunmetal grey finish, even to the sink. Another one of those black toilets. And reasonable sized shower in there. Bit more room because you've got a nice seat down there so you can sit yourself down. And even here, the taps and so on, all in that matte black with that slightly lighter bluish grey, almost slate-like finish. Let's take a quick look down at the crew cabin. That is the access under the stairs to the flybridge. It is slightly perilous entrance to there. You can probably see how steep that is. I'm just going to poke my camera down there so you can see from here. But you've got a couple of bunk beds on this side and an ensuite bathroom there. But that is quite a long, steep ladder down. Let's have a quick look down at the business end of the GTX80. This is the engine room. Got teak steps down. Here we go. Right, let's take a look at this. So here are the triple IPS 1350 engines. Now the idea of having triple IPS rather than 2 bigger engines is to create a more efficient running boat. It means you've got smaller, lighter engines, you've got more space around them, and it gives you a bit more flexibility. If you're just going at displacement speed, you could run just the 2 outer ones, for instance. So the idea is it gives you more options, better running efficiency, but still plenty of performance. And it is noticeable, there's really good space between here. It's fairly easy to crawl around, get to everything you need to, and there's still space behind for some of the other systems. We've got, that looks like the hot water tank. We've got the Kohler generator up here, and a really good technical space with full standing headroom at the entrance here, where you can get to the water maker. You've got another generator up here. You've got a Seakeeper 9 gyro stabilizer under there and a matching one over there. So twin gyro stabilizers, triple engines, it is all going on. I started off this video comparing Pershing's new GTX80 to a top-of-the-range Range Rover. But having seen it, I think something like an Aston Martin DBX is perhaps a closer comparison, because this is still a seriously sporty looking boat. It's got those sleek exterior lines, that very discreet profile, those triple IPS 1000 horsepower engines, and a very masculine sporty look to the way the whole of the interior has been designed. Please let me know if you think that's a correct comparison, and of course we'll be trying to make sure that we get a full sea trial as soon as possible, where we will feature it on our YouTube channel as well as in the printed magazine Motorboat and Yachting, and on our website at mby.com. So if you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe, give us a like, and I look forward to bringing you more of the coolest boats around as soon as I can.